that day his feet will be on the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem, and there shall be a great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. So this is the impact right here. It's the event that causes massive crustal displacement that we keep reading about all over in these texts. Then it says, and you shall flee. So there's the reference to the escape. Like you fled before the earthquake. That there's an earthquake at the impact. And in that day the light shall not be clear. So again, this is the darkening of the sky that occurs at impact. But at the Mount of Olives in Israel, it says the light is not clear, but it's not completely dark either. So this clarifies that Israel is not the impact location, because we know the impact location is dark, completely dark. But different parts of the earth are affected in different ways. So Zechariah's nuclear meltdown caused by the missiles occur at the Battle of Armageddon after the asteroid impact. Okay, but then it says, in that day living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth. This is still Zechariah 14. And in that day, when the waters go out from Jerusalem, in that day the land that was turned from a plain to a valley with mountains to the north and south, that land will be inhabited, and there shall be no more destruction. Okay, so this is not the same day of the impact. It's much, much later. It says there's no more destruction, and the land of the crustal displacement is inhabited again, and the Lord is king over the whole earth. But notice it says, in that day there shall be one Lord, and his name one, right here. In that day, there shall be one Lord, and his name one. Okay, so why does it say that? It might be referring to chapter 5, Zechariah 5, where it says the flying roll will destroy the thief who swears by my name. So this portion of Zechariah 14 is referring to a later time after the destruction, when the deceiver is no longer pretending to be God. So that's why Hosea said Yehovah is the beast. The beast is pretending to be God right now. But after the destruction of the house of the thief, which we now know refers to Babylon, after that nuclear event, people will be dwelling on the earth again, and there will be no more destruction. Then it goes back and clarifies what the plague will be, wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. It's nuclear. In that day a great tumult shall be among them. So it's talking about two different days here. The first day, right here, I'm sorry, the first day that occurs is right here, the tumult. That's the day of the Lord. It's the wrath. But the second day it's referring to, right up here, when the waters come out from Jerusalem, that refers to the time Christ returns to earth. When New Jerusalem comes down out of heaven as a bride, and the tabernacle of God is with humans and dwelling with humans. So when New Jerusalem returns right here, God will dwell on the earth with humans. And that's when a pure river of water of life comes out of the throne of God on earth. So water pours out of the throne, which is on the earth at this point. And why does water pour out onto the earth? Because after the asteroid impact and nuclear event, there's no more sea. So it says right here in Revelation 21, I saw a new heaven, so the position of the stars have changed. Then it says, and a new earth. So remember, the mountains and islands have been moved. So we're talking about the movement of the earth, crustal displacement. And then it says, and there was no more sea. And water pours out of the throne onto the earth after that. So these waters are also mentioned in the book of Ezekiel when he's talking about the temple, what some people think is the third temple, but it's describing New Jerusalem that comes down out of heaven after the event. I have a video on that linked in the description below this video, but these waters, he says, brought forth the sea. The waters shall be healed, they shall be healed, everything shall live. Okay, so I don't have time to go into the translations right here in this video, but for more information on that, you can watch the other video. The point here is that these waters heal the earth and replenish the sea. So God returns and heals the earth and replenishes the sea after the beast nukes everything. So the nuclear meltdown leaves Earth without a sea. So in that day, when living waters come out of Jerusalem, it's talking about New Jerusalem that comes down out of heaven. This is the day when the good Lord is living with humans on the earth. It's referring to the return of Christ after the destruction. Okay, so how long will Christ live with humans on the earth? How long is this time period right here? It's 1,000 years. It says, those which had not worshipped the beast, this is Revelation 20, lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. So Christ is on earth with humans for 1,000 years after this nuclear meltdown. And 1,000 years is one day. It's 2 Peter 3:8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. So this 1,000-year period is also referred to as a day. So in Zechariah 14, that day in verse 8 refers to the 1,000-year day. And in verse 13, that day refers to the day of wrath. So two different days here. The day of wrath right here, and the 1,000-year reign right here. Okay, but notice Peter also talks about the burning. He says, the heavens and the earth are reserved unto fire, and the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Okay, so again, notice he says this burning occurs when the Lord comes as a thief in the night. So this coming as a thief is right here at the wrath, at the 7 trumpets and 7 vials. So we talk about that in the video on the 7 trumpets. This is the burning of Babylon. Peter says it's the burning of the whole earth. So we know Babylon is burned here, but now Peter is saying it's the whole earth that's going to be burned, not just Babylon. So this burning occurs when the kings of the earth burn Babylon. These 10 kings are the horns of the beast. And we talk about that in the video, The Dragon, the Beast, and the Harem. It's linked below. But the 10 kings, as of 2009, appear to be the 10 regional groupings of the United Nations. So the UN appears to be the current form of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, covering all 7 continents of the whole earth and segregating those continents into 10 regions. Again, you can watch the video linked below for more information on that, on the dragon and the beast. And then from Daniel 7, we know that the beast with the 10 horns devours the whole earth. So it's the kings of the whole earth that are burning Babylon, essentially. So this nuclear meltdown is caused by the 10 kings of the beast who cover the whole earth, and this meltdown destroys Babylon, who rides the beast covering the whole earth. And now we also know this nuclear meltdown occurs when the asteroid impacts the earth and creates a huge pit. So the pit and the nuclear meltdown both destroy Babylon at the same time. And it's even possible that this asteroid impact causes the nuclear meltdown. Okay, but let's look a little closer. Okay, so during the 5th vial, the beast's kingdom is full of darkness, and they're in pain. We've talked about this in the video called The Asteroid When and Where. It's also linked below. And we're told this is occurring in the 3rd portion of the earth where the asteroid hits. We also talk about it in the video on the 7 trumpets. It says they're in pain with sores after this impact. And this is the same time the kings of the earth gather in Armageddon to fight against God, because we know these vials or plagues all occur in one day. So right here in Revelation 15, the vials of wrath are the plagues. And Revelation 18, the plagues occur in one day. But this one day is not the 1,000-year day, it's the day of wrath. And it appears to be one literal day because we're told it's an asteroid impact. And this is when the beast kingdom is in darkness. But from the other videos examining the trumpets and the plagues, we also know that on the other side of the earth, they're scorched by the sun. And from Zechariah 14, it says, on the Mount of Olives, the light is not clear but not dark either. So different parts of the earth are affected differently when this asteroid impacts. Okay, but again, why are they in pain in the beast's kingdom? It's here in Revelation 9. They're in pain because of the locusts that come out of the smoke. So the star falls from heaven and creates a huge pit. Smoke comes out of that pit and darkens the sky. And locusts come out of the smoke and harm those who do not have the seal of God in their foreheads. And they're in torment from this for 5 months. So after the star hits the earth, we have the pit. Then the locusts torment those who don't have the seal for 5 months. And this is when the beast's kingdom is dark and they're in pain, and this is also when the kings are gathered together to fight God at Armageddon. Okay, But look at this. At the same time it says, okay, at the same time all of this is happening, it says, 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. Okay, so we need to look closer at this. First of all, this word translated as spirit, spirits, number 4151, it means a movement of the air, of the wind, hence the wind itself. So 3 unclean or dirty winds. And this word like was translated from Hebrew word number 3664, which stems from the base of 3674, which means together. So corresponding to or together with. But then notice in the Greek lexicon, and the links to these concordances are below in the description if you're interested, but the word translated as like in the Greek lexicon is number 5613 instead. And 5613 means after. So it's saying, I saw 3 unclean winds together with frogs or after frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. So remember the plague of frogs right here in the 10 plagues of Egypt. So now we know these plagues are happening at the same time of the asteroid impact because the impact occurs when the nuclear meltdown happens. And this plague of frogs is connected to the dirty winds, which very likely refer to that same nuclear meltdown. But this word translated as mouth, number 4750, it also means face or edge. So 3 unclean winds after frogs came out of the edge of the dragon, beast, and false prophet. Or again, it could be 3 unclean winds together with frogs came out of the edge of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. Then it says, for they are the winds of devils. So this word here, 1142, translated as devils, it means devils plural, more than one. But we know the word for devil right here, diabolos, means false accuser. So devils, plural, would be more than one false accuser. So it says, for they are the unclean winds of the false accusers. And this word translated as working, number 4160, it means to be the authors of something. So they are the unclean winds of the false accusers, the authors of miracles, right here, number 4592, which literally means mark. So it says, I saw 3 unclean or dirty winds together with frogs or after frogs come out of the edge of the dragon and out of the edge of the beast and out of the edge of the false prophet. For they are the winds of the false accusers, the authors of the mark, which go forth unto the kings of the whole world to gather them to the battle of Armageddon, basically. So this makes perfect sense, because we're told here in Revelation 13 that the second beast, the Lamb who speaks like a dragon, that's the false prophet. We've talked about that. You can see the video on the dragon, the beast, and the harem linked in the description below. But we know the Lamb who speaks like a dragon was the position of the Pope during the height of the Roman Empire, which was the fourth stage of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. So this Lamb who speaks like a dragon is one of the false prophets right here, who will make fire come down from heaven. So that fire from heaven may refer to the locust army right here. Fire and brimstone comes out of their mouths and tails. And this has to do with the war we're told starts as soon as this impact occurs. The locusts seem to be that army. So that could be the fire that comes down out of heaven. Or it could be that this fire from heaven is the cause of the unclean wind. There are several things going on at this time: the impact, the war, and the meltdown. But it says the unclean winds are of the authors of the mark. And the author of the mark is the false prophet, the second beast, the Lamb who speaks like a dragon, right here in Revelation 13. He makes fire come down from heaven and causes all to receive a mark in their right hand or forehead, so no one can buy or sell unless they have the mark, the name, or the number of his name. And the number of his name is the number of a man, and it's 666, and we talk about that in the video on the beast, link below. Okay, but by the way, this word all right here, when it says he causes all to receive a mark in their right hand or forehead, that word is number 3956, and it doesn't mean everyone on the planet. It means some of all types. So it says right here, it is very rarely the all, meaning all persons taken individually. It's generally used to signify some of all sorts, or some of all types, or all manner of. So we're told right here in Revelation 13 that the Lamb who speaks like a dragon, who we know is the false prophet, or was during the height of the Roman Empire, that Lamb who speaks like a dragon causes all kinds of people to receive a mark in their right hand or forehead. And that's already happening, as I'm sure you know, the RFID chip implantation in the right hand in all sorts of people. And the medical community has been marketing that in recent years. So this mark could be a microchip. And as a side note, it says he deceives them by this mark. So, right here, Revelation 13:14, he deceived them by the means of those miracles. Okay, and this word right here, miracles 45:92, that's the word mark. So it's saying he deceives humans by the mark, or the microchip, if that's what it is. And they make an image and give life to the image. Okay, so this is a reference to the serpent in Genesis 3. So please watch that video if you want to understand what the image is, because it tells us in Genesis 3 that it's some type of technology that alters a person's appearance. A video on that is linked below. But the point here is that he deceives them by the means of this, and they end up with sores on their body. So they nod their tongues in pain because of their pains and their sores. And it was those who had the mark of the beast who got the sores right here. So this is all tied together. So at the time that the meteorite strikes and war begins, there's also a nuclear event, and the unclean winds come out of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. Okay, so here, Babylon is in pink, and this is explained in more detail in the video called The Dragon, the Beast, and the Harem. And it's also in the video Asteroid, When and Where. They're both linked below. But in short, we're told on the one hand by the biblical texts that the deceiver has taken the name of Yehovah and is pretending to be God. So that's why Hosea says Yehovah is the beast. It's the beast pretending to be God. That's why it's a deception. It's the thief who swears by his name, the beast who blasphemes his name. It was the Roman Empire, and now it's transformed into the UN. But riding that world empire is the religious system worshiping the false god. Okay, so why do they worship the beast? Because they think they're worshiping God, the Lord of the Old Testament, and they don't realize what they're really worshiping is the God the Roman Empire created, a destructive God. Okay, so who are the worshipers of Yehovah, of this false god? It's the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And that's what's highlighted here in pink. And they're all headquartered in Rome, Jerusalem, and Mecca. That doesn't mean everybody is deceived. It tells us not everyone's deceived. But it means this is the location where they are deceived and worshiping that beast pretending to be God. Okay. So this religious system that has been set up by the beast, unfortunately, it's headquartered in Rome, Jerusalem, and Mecca. And people will argue amongst themselves saying, no, the harlot Babylon is Rome, no, it's Jerusalem, and then other people say, no, it's Mecca. But it's actually all three. Because why do the biblical texts call it a harlot? Because a harlot is more than one. The bride is only one. The harlot is more than one. And just as a side note, why are they even using that analogy, between the bride and the harlot? Because it has to, from what I can tell, it has to do with the state of our society. The place we're in right now is very different from where we were 50 years ago. No one respects marriage anymore. Marriage is, I shouldn't say no one, but the value of marriage, the value of procreation, it has been degraded. And it's actually being taught in schools nowadays to children. It's being taught to them that procreation is a frivolous recreational activity. So what the way the Bible is, the way these biblical texts are, there are all these multiple layers of meanings in this stuff. And I think the reason it chose that terminology is because it's telling us on a deeper level which generation it's speaking to. It's speaking to our generation, because they weren't like that back just 50 years ago. It was drastically different. So it's speaking to us. Okay, but once you understand the meaning of the analogy, then you can understand that there is more than one harlot, but only one bride. So that means there are more than one cities representing Babylon, the quote-unquote harlot. Okay, so it isn't just Rome or Jerusalem or just Mecca, it's all three. And Jeremiah also tells us Babylon consists of more than one city. This is Jeremiah 51. It says, her cities, it's talking about Babylon, her cities, plural, are a desolation. So there's more than one city. Babylon consists of more than one city. Okay. So here's the Sea of Babylon. It's the Atlantic Ocean, where we're told the star that destroys Babylon will hit. It hits the Sea of Babylon. It appears to be the Atlantic at this point. So the dirty winds will come out of the edge of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. So the beast in its current form is the UN, covering all 7 continents, and headquartered in New York City. And the texts tell us the dragon gives power to the beast. So again, watch the videos below for more details on that. Okay, so who gives power to the UN? Well, it originated in the UK, and one of the national animals for the UK is the dragon. So the unclean winds come out of the dragon, and the beast, whose headquarters are in NYC. But we know the beast covers all 7 continents, so it may be saying this nuclear meltdown will occur on every continent after this asteroid impact. But also notice this word for false prophet right here, number 5578. It's a combination of 2 words. Number 5571, which means deceitful or false, and number 4396, which can also be plural, meaning not just one prophet, but many prophets. So when it says the unclean winds came out of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophets, it can mean the dragon, the beast, and all the false prophets. And these false prophets of the beast's religious system are all headquartered in Rome, Jerusalem, and Mecca. So the whole world is the house of the thief, but this area in pink specifically consists of those who worship the beast, and we're told this is the sea where the stone hits. So that's why, one of the main reasons why it's so specific about that. It wants you to know where the asteroid's going to hit. Okay, but the event affects the whole world. And again, the nuclear wind may not only be in these areas, but that's what it's describing. This is the destruction of Babylon right here. It says, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God. So they gather together at Armageddon after this asteroid impact, and they fight against God. But the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets and those who worshipped his image, and they were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Okay, but let's look at the meanings of these words here. This word translated as cast, which is number 906, it also means to lay or lie. So the beast and the false prophets lay alive in a lake of fire. And where is that fire? It's on Earth. It's the nuclear meltdown after the asteroid impact. Right here. So this plague of nuclear fire, we're told in Zechariah, is caused by Yehovah, who Hosea and John say is the beast. And John also tells us in Revelation 17, it's caused specifically by the 10 horns of the beast. The 10 regions of the world, the 10 horns are the 10 regions of the world that hate Babylon, the religious system riding the beast. And they burn Babylon with fire. Okay, but if they burn Babylon, they burn themselves. So why would they do that intentionally? Zechariah already told us. The nuclear missiles enter their house, the house of the thief. In other words, the house of the beast, which we know is the whole world. Right here in Daniel 7, the beast devours the whole earth. So the flying roll or nuclear missiles enter the house of the thief. They enter the whole world, and they remain in the midst of the world and consume it. So the 10 kings caused the event simply because they brought the missiles into their own house. So the nuclear meltdown may be caused by the asteroid impact and resulting earthquakes and tsunamis, but the kings of the earth are the ones who brought the nuclear technology in. So it's not God who's going to cause the nuclear event, it's humans. But God lets go and lets them lie in their own devastation, because this word right here that was translated as cast, it also means let go of a thing without caring where it falls. So they lie in that lake of fire. They are let go. So God lets them lie in that lake of fire. But many humans are saved, and God brings those humans who will be rescued down to earth after the event and restores the earth for those who didn't worship the beast, and restores the water that was burnt up by the beast's nuclear arsenal. So that's why it says in Matthew 24 right here that no flesh will be saved if the tribulation was not cut short for the elect. And the elect, as we've seen in recent videos, are the bride, the two witnesses, and the 144,000, all of which are gathered together from heaven at the end, right here in Matthew 24. They're gathered from heaven immediately after the tribulation. Why are they gathered from heaven? Because they're all in heaven by that time. And why are they all in heaven? Because no flesh is going to survive that nuclear holocaust that burns the whole earth. They're taken to the safe abode in heaven because they would die if they weren't taken. So right here, the bride escapes here, the two witnesses here, and the 144,000 here. And there it is. The nuclear meltdown. And this is Revelation 20. It says, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire where the beast and the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever. Okay, but look at the meaning of this word here. It was translated as forever and ever, number 165. But it means period of time. So the false accuser that deceived them lie in the lake of fire. Because remember, devil means false accuser, and cast, number 906, means lay or lie. So the false accuser that deceived them lie in the lake of fire where the beast and the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night for a period of time. Okay, well, what is the period of time for the torment? It's 5 months. Revelation 9:5, they should be tormented 5 months. Tormented day and night for a period of time. Tormented day and night for 5 months. And then it says, hell delivered up the dead, and hell also lay in the lake of fire. Hell is laying in the lake of fire. So remember, what is hell? Hell is the pit. Right here. And what is the pit? It's the result of the asteroid impact. So hell lays in the pit, in the lake of fire. The pit lays in the lake of fire. So this pit right here is literally hell. And the burning That's the nuclear meltdown, otherwise known as the lake of fire. And that lake of fire is on the earth. Okay, but the good news is life on the planet will be preserved. That's what the texts tell us. So, that's the good news. Okay, so I have to stop here for this video, but there's so much more to explain about this. So I'm going to continue with part 2 next week. And I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so, so much to those of you that are supporting this work. So appreciated. And if you do appreciate this information, please consider supporting it. The link is below. I couldn't do this without your help. I really can't do it without your help. And there's a lot more information. My ebook is linked below. There's a lot of information in that. And there are also several other videos below as well. So I hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.